With this fragrance, are we paying for the name or are we paying for quality? Hello, my name is Ellison, and on this channel I do perfume reviews, and I am trying to help you find the next best fragrance to add to your collection. So if that is something that you are interested in seeing more of, then I would highly suggest you hit that subscribe button down below just to stay in the loop with my future uploads. So today we are looking at the Miss Dior Blooming Bouquet Eau de Toilette. I'm getting better at it. So this was actually lent to me by my sister because this is one of her favorite perfumes. She loves it. She especially loves it for the spring and summer seasons just because it is a very nice floral, fresh fragrance. And so she said, you know what? I feel like you should review this on your channel. So that's what we're doing. There are only 4 notes in this fragrance. So we have bergamot essence, Damascus rose essence, peony, and white musks. So when I smell this perfume or fragrance, this is in a toilette, don't you know? When I smell this, I mean, it is obviously very heavily a floral fragrance. I mean, half of the 4 notes in this fragrance are florals. We have Damascus rose and peony. But I feel like the bergamot on the top, I feel like that really helps it to be very fresh, obviously very fruity, because bergamot is considered a citrus fragrance note. And so it really livens and gives the fragrance a little bit more energy, in my opinion. But then it's very softened. It's nice and softened by the musk notes that are on the bottom. And so I feel like this is a very well-rounded fragrance altogether because it is so simple. The notes are simple. They're bare minimum, very minimalistic, but they also are very well blended. So that way it just creates a very wearable fragrance altogether. So as far as the collection, as far as the fragrance, I mean, what I'm getting is, yes, I'm getting the rose, I'm getting the peony, but it's also just blended with this nice citrusy element, and then softened and sort of surrounded by the musk, making it a very light, very fresh fragrance. I mean, it's floral, it's obviously a floral, but I feel like the blend of the other two really makes it makes it unique. I think that florals can sometimes all smell the same to me, just because florals, I don't know, when I smell one floral, I feel like I've smelled all florals, and so I feel like it's really hard for me to sometimes pinpoint different floral fragrances. They all smell very similar to me, but this, I mean, I feel like this is very unique, but I also feel like you've smelled it before. I feel like it's unique but a classic. Now, as far as the wear time with this, like I said, this is an eau de toilette. I'm working on it. So this is considered a lower concentration fragrance. This is considered a fragrance that, you know, it has less than 15%, probably, I think it's about 10% concentration is what a toilette is. And so I automatically think this is not gonna last very long. On top of that, florals tend to not last very long on my skin. I tend to be more of a warm fragrance, ambery fragrance kind of person. Those last really well on me. And florals, fresh fragrances, they really don't last very long on me at all, typically. This one, however, I was very impressed. I was pleasantly surprised. So I sprayed this on. I'm not going to say it lasted all day. I'm not going to say that it was a full strength, powerful, expressive fragrance that lasted all day. But I will say that it lasted longer than I expected it to. I think I sprayed it on at probably around 7:30 in the morning, and I could still smell it on myself pretty powerfully up until about 11:30, 12 o'clock the day that I wore this. And then I could smell a subtle whiff of it throughout the rest of the day. So personally, I mean, I felt like this was actually a very successful fragrance. I felt like this was a win. Obviously, like I said, I tend to not go for florals. I tend to not prefer florals. If I had a choice, I'm not going to pick a floral. But for testing purposes, I felt like this really performed very well. I was very impressed with how long it wore. You know, sometimes I feel like when we go to a luxury brand, when we look at luxury fragrances like this one, you automatically think it's going to last a long time, but then it doesn't perform. Even in, you know, a full-scale perfume doesn't always perform. And this is a toilette, and it still did really well. It did better than other toilettes that I've experienced and tested. This did much better than a lot of those did. And so I felt like this was just really beautiful. As far as the strength, like I said, it wasn't like a super powerful fragrance. I think that this is sort of moderately strong, moderately expressive, because I've had fragrances before where it's like, you know what, I literally sprayed this on and it's just sort of, it's a very delicate fragrance from the get-go, and I can't really smell very much of it even from, you know, the first spray. It's just not a strong fragrance. And then I've also had fragrances where, you know, you spray it on and it is full strength all day, right? Like no joke kind of fragrances. But this perfume, I felt like it was very moderate, a very nice middle ground as far as strength and the expressive nature of this perfume. I felt like it was very moderate because, like I said, it wasn't like it filled a room, but I could still smell it, and I felt like it was just a very nice aura kind of fragrance where, you know, you just sort of, it becomes you, it melts into you, and it just sort of follows you around. And it's a very pleasant, a very delicate, a very subtle fragrance, but it still has strength. It's still effective for, you know, oh, somebody else smelling it on you, or you smelling it on yourself. Because I feel like that is the real test of a fragrance, if you can smell it on yourself all day. Because we get used to a fragrance. We get used to what it smells like as we wear it throughout the day. But if you continue to smell it, if you are continuously smelling it and getting whiffs of it on yourself, then to me that's the sign of a very strong, well-designed, well-made fragrance. With this, I was able to get whiffs of it throughout the day, even with it being a lower concentration fragrance. So as far as where I would wear this perfume, or excuse me, fragrance, it's not a perfume, it's fragrance. In my opinion, obviously it is a toilette. So it's just not a super heavy, not a super, it's not beefy in any sort of fashion. You know, whenever I look for or use fragrances for a special occasion or a night out or, you know, something like that, whenever I'm looking for a fragrance for that kind of event, I'm looking for something that's a little bit heavier, that it just is settled and it's got a lot of weight to it. And this, no weight, okay? This is very weightless in its design, which it is a toilette. That is exactly what I expected. But also, like I said, it has a moderate strength. And so I feel like this is a really nice fragrance for everyday wear. I feel like this is a really nice fragrance for, you know, going to the office if you're a professional individual and you are looking for a fragrance where it's like, you know what, I can wear this every day. It's not going to give my coworkers a headache, but I can still smell it and I can still feel very confident, very dignified with my fragrance. And I feel like this is really nice. If you like florals, you don't like florals? No, don't get this one because it's floral, okay? And so I feel like for those of you who are looking for a fragrance that it's like I said, it presents you very well, it lasts. I didn't feel the need to reapply throughout the day. And so it lasts throughout the day, but it sort of presents you very well to others and it makes you feel put together. Then I feel like this is really nice. I feel like this is very nice. I feel like it's very professional and I feel like it really fits in with that kind of crowd. Personally, I feel like it's a little bit too dressy for like a casual event, actually. I know that it's a toilette. I know that it's a floral, which is typically a very, I'll say, fun-loving kind of fragrance for me anyways, but I really felt like this is actually a step higher than casual, okay? I would not wear this casually. I would not wear this to, you know, a weekend day party or a day at home. I feel like this is just a little bit dressed up, a little bit stepped up a notch. And so for me, I would keep this for, like I said, a professional kind of thing. I just think that it really fits very well with that kind of setting. So those are my thoughts of the Miss Dior Blooming Bouquet Eau de Toilette. And if you have your own thoughts about this fragrance, if you've tried it and you love it, or if you've tried it and you really don't like it, then tell me about it down below. Comment what your thoughts are on this fragrance. Comment if there are other fragrances that you've smelled similar to this that you're like, you really need to try this because I love this and I want to hear, you know, if you want to hear my 2 cents about the fragrance, then definitely just drop a comment down below. I read every comment, and so I really Would love your input. Thank you so much for joining me today. I am going to link this fragrance down below if you are interested in getting your hands on this perfume fragrance, and if you are interested in seeing another video, another eau de toilette that you are looking for of luxury fragrance, then I would highly suggest you watch this video right here. This is my review of the Versace Bright Crystal Eau de Toilette. If you are interested in hearing more, if you're interested in a little bit more subtle, a little more lightweight fragrance, then I'd highly suggest you check that one out. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed this video. I love you oh so very much, and until we meet again, so long.